Martes para sa unayan ng sa batasan with Congressman Roilo Golez. Sir, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. I just came from the Committee on Energy, and we tackled there a very important issue, which is the issue of universal charges. And there, after getting some very shocking revelations about the IPP, something that are just confirmations of previous things that we already knew, the committee approved my motion directing the Department of Energy and PISAM to renegotiate the 19 IPP contracts that we have in view of the following. It has been revealed that in the past 10 years or so of the IPP, the country overpaid as much as $10 billion for these IPP contracts if we base it on normal costing. And if you're talking of another more than 10 years of the IPP, up to, I understand, 2020 or something like that, we are looking at another $10 billion that we are going to overpay. You know, if you translate what is the equivalent of $10 billion by way of power plant, a good-sized power plant with about 1,000 megawatt capacity is worth about $1 billion. In other words, ang ino-overpay natin is already equivalent to about 10 power plants with a combined capacity of 10,000 megawatts. Ang 10,000 megawatts, kung pili na natin yan, sa halip magbayad pa tayo sa mga IPP, would be enough to take care of our power needs for the next maybe 10 to 20 years. We are talking of the following IPPs, so 11 in Luzon, 3 in the Visayas, and 5 in Mindanao. Ano ba ang cost ng power natin ngayon? Because of all this, it's already 18.1 cents per kilowatt hour, and this is the highest in Asia. The next highest is 17.9 cents per kilowatt hour, and that is in Japan. So with this, by the way, the other very interesting figure given to us is that ang production cost ng IPP is 20 pesos per kilowatt hour. The production cost of an ordinary plant average is about 3 pesos per kilowatt hour. So you can see the humongous difference in the production cost that would really be very burdensome as far as universal charges are concerned. We also included in this motion the amendment proposed by Congressman Casino, that in the meantime, we suspend all hearings on the universal charges to be conducted by the ERC. Thank you. That's item number 1.
So yung overpayment is due to yung laki na difference sa production cost and yung rate?
That's right. Laki na, if you compare the normal cost, kasi emergency IPP na yan, no? With the normal cost of an ordinary power plant, basically coal-fired, we are talking in the past 10 years of a difference of about $10 billion. And we are looking at another $10 billion overpayment in the next 10 years if we continue with the IPP. So we asked them to renegotiate. There are so many aspects in the terms with the IPP. For example, ang discount rate na ginagamit nila, if we compute the net present value of all these plants, if the government will purchase the plants, ang ginagamit na discount rate is about 2 to 3%, which is very, very low. The normal standard for a discount rate is about maybe about 12%. Ang laki ng epekto nito in the computation of the net present value. Halos hindi magbabago yung net present value compared to the future value of the power plants. That's item number 1.
Sir, yung former officials who were behind dun sa IPP contracts, can they be held liable for that overpayment?
We did not discuss that. We have to realize that we were in the midst of a power crisis during that time. So we did not discuss that. We are discussing only the fact that based on standard rates, there is an overpayment. And we should do away with this by way of renegotiating.
Kayo po personally?
Wala. Hindi ko inaano. Ang titingnan natin is move on and look at the future.
Wala na ko yung culpability ng...
No, that was not part of my motion. Because my first privilege speech in 1992, on day one of the 9th Congress, was the power crisis. And in 1993, 1994, we came out with the Power Crisis Act. And this was the one that triggered the IPP. Next item ko is with respect to juvenile justice. I am proposing that we amend the Juvenile Justice Law or Act by decreasing the 18-year-old level to 15 years and then the 15 years to 12. Because right now, if you are 15 years and below, pag nahuli ka committing the most dastardly crime, all that will be done to the person is for him to be sent home. And the next is for counseling by the DSWD. Here are the figures for Paranaque. That's why it's very alarming. In 2006, there were only 11 children in conflict with the law cases. After the passage of the Juvenile Act, in 2007, this went up by 100%, more than 100%, to 27. Noong 2008, naging 1999. Noong 2009, naging 629. And noong 2010, naging 842 cases. And what is also very alarming is that a lot of these children were caught na may daladalang birth certificate to prove that they are minors under meron silang parang immunity kaagad, no? In other words, sa akin, no, if you ask me, that to me is an indication of a malicious intention. Sino ba naman ang naglalakad na tao na meron dalang birth certificate? I don't know if anyone here is walking around with a birth certificate either to prove that you are of certain age. Mga senior citizens lang ang meron ganyan for a discount. But not for a discount as far as justice is concerned.
So, ginagamit sila ng mga certificate?
Yeah, ginagamit sila. And this is a loophole in the Juvenile Justice Law that syndicates are taking advantage of because they know that if you bring along a 50-year-old kid, the kid will just be sent home. Ang sabi, those who are in favor of the Juvenile Justice Law are saying that anyway, they're going to be handled by the DSWD for counseling. But my question is this, how can the DSWD in a city handle 842 cases? They don't have the manpower to do this. At baka tumaas pa ito, considering that this is a loophole being exploited by criminal syndicates.
Dapat hindi masinigalo.
Kasama din sila dapat. I think we can also look at the possibility of making this an aggravating circumstance pagdating doon sa mga sindikato when they use minors. In fact, kahit na wala pa yung pagbabago ng batas, pwede na silang ma-accuse ng child abuse.
Sir, ano natin yung mga kaso? Ano yung pinakagrabing kaso?
Ang pinakagrabe dito, robbery, even murder. Binigyan ako ng ano rito, no? Mga serious physical injuries, but a lot of them are crimes against property. If it were just a crime of passion, nagalit siya, pinagtatanggol siya, o kaya uminit ang ulo niya, that's understandable. But in my opinion, I cannot accept that a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old would not know that it is a crime to steal, it is a crime to be a part of a robbery gang, that he would not know that it is a crime to kill, to rape, and those other crimes that have been attributed to these minors.
So yung proposal nyo is from
Yung 18 going 15. Kasi 18 to 15, merong element of discernment. But yung 15, automatically talagang pauwiin. A 15 or less year old citizen is considered faultless. Parang there is no crime involved. And the person will just be sent home with counseling later by other agencies such as the DSWD.
Sir, hindi ba yung Juvenile Justice Act po natin is compliance lang ng Pilipinas sa mga international agreements?
Well, perhaps, essentially yes. But we have to realize that we have a different situation here in the Philippines compared maybe to the other countries that were used as a basis for this juvenile justice system. The United Nations Convention on who should be considered a child, I understand that we have to follow that. But insofar as treatment in the event that a so-called child commits a crime should be different in a country like the Philippines, especially considering that these loopholes are being exploited by criminal syndicates.
Doon daw sa parusa, yung parusa na kasama doon sa kahit ibaba mo ng edad. Kung ano man yung parusa doon sa krimen na ginawa niya, despite 15.
Ang sa akin is we fine-tune it, no? Yung 18 to 15, in terms of penalty, we can cite as a mitigating circumstance the age of the child. So instead of applying the same penalty as that of a full adult, we can reduce it maybe by roughly about half. Kung let's say 6 years, gawin natin 3 years. Kung 1 year, gawin natin 6 months. But definitely, this should be treated as a crime with respect to those who are 18 to 15.
Sir, dyan po sa mga datos na na-gather po ninyo, ano po yung mga age range na talagang na-involve niyo?
Maiba, less than 15. Karamihan, mga between 15 and
15 to 18.
Yeah. Yung mga 50, pataas, 12 to 50. Yung mga iba, no? Mga 14, 13.
So yung proposal ninyo na ibaba ito sa 15 is sa tingin ninyo ma-address malaki ang may tutulong to address the juvenile?
Well, definitely, because now they will know that it will be treated as an ordinary crime. But right now, siyempre, ini-induce sila. Sinasabi, huwag kayong mag-alala. At hindi naman kayo huliin dito. There is no crime involved. Kung yung bahala sa iyo. Meantime, the person has been killed. Can you imagine a 14-year-old boy killing someone? Tapos pauwi lang ng bahay. Ang sabi nga ng mga iba, paano naman yung mga biktima nila? Anong pakiramdam ng mga magulang na namatay yung anak nila? O kaya binasag yung kotse nila? Tumulong sa pagkarnap ng kotse nila, pagkatapos pag nahuli, pauwi lang ng bahay. Because of the presumption that the person doesn't know that it was a criminal act.
Sir, na-file niyo na po yung bill niyo?
Hindi, meron na kasing gina-consider ngayon ng mga, so I'm saying that I fully support the move to amend in view of the circumstance that we are experiencing in Paranaque. I have consulted with my constituents and the consensus is that this should be amended.
Kaso lang, yung 2012 budget, walang i-establish for the juvenile justice.
Wala, at saka pinapasa rin sa mga local government. Ang problema sa local government, marami na silang mga program na nasa priority ng iba. So it's very difficult for the LGUs to allocate the amount. For example, for yung mga juvenile centers, malaking bagay din yan. Now, my next item is with regard to the revelation that the budget being requested by the pro-RH people is not 1 billion, it's not 3 billion, but 13.7 billion pesos for next year. This is quite a shocking figure, considering that there should be other priorities that must be handled. For example, tingnan nyo ang budget ng DOH for all the national hospitals is only 3.2 billion for the operation of special hospitals like Jose Reyes, Rizal Medical Center, East Avenue Medical, Quirino, Tondo, Jose Pabella, National Children's, National Center for Mental Health, Philippine Orthopedic, San Lazaro, RITM, and Amang Rodriguez Medical Center is only 3.2 billion pesos. I cannot see why the RH should command a much higher figure of about 13.7 billion pesos. Of course, maternal health is very important. So doon natin dapat i-concentrate yung pera, no? Now, yung sinasabi na 11 maternal deaths every day, that is an old figure. The latest figure is about 5, and most of these are in remote areas where there is a lack of doctors, nurses, and midwives. For example, Jose Pabella, which is the most relevant as far as maternal health is concerned. Ang budget for operation is only 317 million pesos. Pagkatapos maglalagay ka ng 13.7 billion for contraceptives and for condoms, dapat dito i-concentrate sa Jose Pabella and other counterpart hospitals that are maybe located in the regions. Use the money to support hospitals that are really connected with maternal health and infant health. The other is we are facing a crisis in view of two typhoons, yung Typhoon Pedring and Typhoon Kiel, and there's another one coming up, yung Typhoon Ramon. Ilang buwan pa bago mawala yung baha doon sa Central Luzon, in so many places Central Luzon. Ba't di natin ilagay doon yung pera na ito? Let us address the immediate crisis that the country is facing. So, ang proposal ko is to ask the pro-RH people to reconsider the position of asking for 13.7 billion pesos for RH. I think the amount is too excessive, considering the comparative figures that I mentioned. Again, I'd like to reiterate, ang budget, the entire budget of the DOH is 42.6 billion. Can you imagine 1/3 of the budget for the health requirements of the entire country will be allocated to RH? The proportions are a little very questionable.
Sir, provided po yun sa 2012 budget, yung 13.7?
Hindi namin alam kung saan nakasingit yan. But that was revealed by Senator Pia Cayetano on the interpellation, I think, of both Senator Enrile and Senator Lapid.
Pwede bang habulin dito in as much as you're about to vote on the third reading doon sa 1.8 billion?
Hindi pa natin ma-amend dito. Pero yun yung proposal nila doon sa RH. Pag na-approve kasi yung RH, yun ang isasakay nila.
Ano to, sir, yung 13.7 na to? Only for condom and pills?
That is the impression that we have. Of course, it will include other programs. But what I'm saying is that 13.7 billion is big, very big, if we compare it with the other health programs of the Department of Health. Again, I mentioned yung mga hospitals under the supervision of the DOH, the operations budget is only 3.2 billion. Pabella is only 317 billion. And the Pabella is one of the most important hospitals for maternal health and infant health. Doon dapat ilagay yung mga pera na yan. There's going to be a substantial amount of money, and that will take care of a lot of maternal deaths, pati yung mga regional and provincial hospitals, especially in the remote areas. Kasi pag hihimayin mo yung maternal death, most of that are happening in the remote places, not in Metro Manila, not in the urban centers, not in the key areas where there are hospitals and there are doctors, but more in the remote areas.
Walang breakdown to, sir? 13.7?
Wala, total pa lang eh. I think in the Senate, they're trying to ask for a breakdown now in the interpellation. You know, what we don't want to happen is what just happened in Thailand. You know what happened in Thailand? In the flooding, the Thai government sent relief goods and condoms to the victims of the flooding. What is the reason for that? Ang worry nila, baka daw dahil na-isolate yung mga tao doon, dahil wala electricity. That is what you call the contraceptive mentality. So sa halip na relief goods, condom ang pinadala nila, including relief goods. So I don't think that is the kind of situation that we would like to encourage here in the Philippines. I don't know that people would accept that in the flooded areas, the government will send them relief goods and condoms.
Pwede sir, baka pwede yung floater.
Sir, sa ibang issue po.
Yes, yes.
Sir, Congressman Iggy Royo, there's the possibility of GMA may missing medical payment abroad kasi hindi bumubuti yung lagay niya despite the operations. Anong take nyo dito? Hindi ko ba ito ma-perceive na way to evade prosecution?
Well, I don't know the medical status of the former president, but I would like to think that it would be inhuman for anyone to say that one is in a worse medical condition than she actually is, just to feign a reason to be sent abroad. Sa akin, all of this can be medically ascertained. And if there's a medical reason, I would not object to her getting the best treatment possible anywhere in the world.
Sir, mas mabuting lumabas na sa publiko para makita yung kalagayan nito.
Maybe. Some people, if they're in a bad medical shape, some of them would rather not appear. I think that's a universal situation. Pag hindi maganda ang kondisyon mo, you'd rather not appear. But government medical doctors can be sent to ascertain, or reputable doctors can make a medical bulletin, and that should be accepted. I don't think any medical doctor of good reputation would risk his standing by making a false medical bulletin. Okay?
Sir Llamas, ano yung tingin ko sa kanya nung banta daw sa buhay niya kaya daw siya ng mga
I'm not privy to any threats. But I think tama naman sinabi niya, no? Let the PNP investigate without any impediment, without any intervention. Let them do their work in investigating what is really behind this firearms issue. You know, we just tackled the illegal possessions law. I was one of those who authored, in fact, I was one of the principal authors of the amendment to the illegal possessions law during the time of Robin Padilla. And I think we should allow the Philippine National Police to freely investigate this without any obstruction from anyone.
Sir, how about Congress investigating these controversies?
Hindi na siguro. It is a police matter. Anyway, pag nag-investigate kami, pakikinggan din namin yung mga police. So we just have to go by the police report.
May mga kumukwestiyon sir doon sa klase ng baril na bakit pinapayagan na yung mga sibilyan na mga masyadong high powers doon.
Well, that is one of the items to be investigated by the Philippine National Police. Let's wait for the result of their investigation. AK-47 is an old weapon. Katapat niya M16, which is also an old weapon. These are vintage 50s and 60s na mga weapon.
Sir, ano nga yung nakalagayan na magiging lagay ng peace talk sa NDF considering sa rate na ginawa ng IPPs or mining?
That definitely would not help in the peace talks. And a lot of people are alarmed. It affected the business community. And I support the privileged speech of Congressman si Paul Matawil. He delivered a privileged speech condemning all these acts, especially in the middle of the peace talks. But you know, I see a pattern here. I've been observing this. They always have this group of 200 men all of a sudden descending upon a place of choice That happened in Bicol many years ago. Sometime in 2002, that happened in Leyte. Gano'n din, 200. And then now it's 200 in Surigao del Sur area. But it is something that they cannot repeat. After this, di nila maulit yan in the same area.
Ano ito, kumukuha lang ng leverage sa case.
That is one. You know, it is normal strategy for parties like that happened during the Vietnam War. Lead actor would be in the middle of a peace talk in Paris with Kissinger, pero magkakaroon ng offensive yung mga Vietcong and the North Vietnamese Army. But here, I think it should be treated in a different way.
Sir, dagdag ko lang po, may request yung mga leftist party lawmakers doon sa political prisoners.
Saan?
Yung political prisoners.
Palayain. 354 political prisoners.
Well, I don't have a position right now. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Salamat.